We are now 3 weeks out from my first ever fitness photo shoot. I don't know if you've been following me recently, but I started this kind of mini series, this journey, kind of cut to confidence, mum sort of version comeback to back in January. So we have started since then. And don't get me wrong, I've been far from perfect, but I really just wanted to show you on this series, a normal busy mum balancing a business with a toddler, but also managing sort of PCOS symptoms as well, because that is something I do suffer with. So, again, I haven't been perfect, but everything that we kind of coach anyway is very much progress over perfection. I started this journey to just really push myself and just feel really good and step into summer feeling like my best. So I really just wanted this as a challenge, and I really just want to show you exactly what it looks like, and of course what I'm doing, that sort of 3 weeks final countdown until that day, the tweaks I'm kind of making. I've definitely amped it up recently, so what I have struggled with so far, what has gone well and what works really well for me, and showing you that kind of realistic side to a mum who isn't kind of stepping on stage ready, but just feeling her best self ready, that strong, confident kind of feel that I really want to turn up to with this shoot. And I just want to bring you along with me. So I've created this mini series. Definitely check out the rest. We'll be doing some over the next kind of few weeks, counting down to that fitness photo shoot. And as I say, this isn't some sort of polished transformation. This is all about progress over perfection, everything we kind of run our business around. And I want to show you and take you along with me. So why did I start this journey? Obviously, we don't actually have any holidays booked this year. There is no actual big events that I'm working towards, no big birthdays or weddings or anything. But I must say, the end of last year, I was not feeling 100% in my body. Last year, if you have been following me, I did a full year's worth of kind of running journey, which is obviously very different. I personally found that with running, even though I was sort of training a couple of times a week, it wasn't giving me the sort of physique that made me really confident or happy in my body. So I ended up finishing the running journey short. The kind of initial plan was to do a marathon. And then I realized after a couple of half marathons that isn't probably something that I actually want to do. And it wasn't really making me happy. Now, I don't know if this has any correlation to it, but obviously I do have PCOS, and I just found a real struggle, and in relation to the intensity of the training, 5 days a week, 3 long runs, 2 trainings, and of course, running a business as well. I felt quite stressed and I never felt really recovered. I always kind of felt like I was running on empty. And again, I was putting in a lot of work for a body that I wasn't really proud of. So that kind of sparked that initial, I just want to get back to where I'm comfortable. But also, annoyingly, during this kind of running journey, I also got married. Obviously, that's not the annoying part, but I actually gained weight in the time from my first dress fitting to the actual wedding day. And I absolutely loved the day. But I must say, in pictures from the day that I tried the dress on to my wedding pictures, I definitely had gained quite a bit. And I think it was like a good 4 or 5 kilograms. And I just look back with a slight regret of, this would have been the perfect time to really have pushed yourself and felt your absolute best. Although it was amazing, there is that tiny bit of regret, and I'm a bit annoyed at not just prioritizing certain goals at certain times last year. So I really just want to make this that comeback, really just push myself and know that I can do this. And I think running definitely gave me that discipline, and it certainly taught me to just turn up when I didn't feel like it. So maybe it was needed for this to even happen in the first place. But the reason I started this, because I just want to feel really good, really confident, and really just challenge myself to a different type of goal. Because running's done now. It's now time to feel a little bit better in myself and really step into a figure and confidence that maybe I haven't had previously. So that is why we're doing the cut. Now, if you've seen my previous video, I did do a postpartum journey as well, in which I dropped sort of 25 kilograms. Obviously, a lot of that was baby weight, but a lot of that was also horrendous habits that kind of just caught up with me in pregnancy. And it was a really great journey, but it wasn't, it was tough in different ways. And I think if you are in a similar boat and you've been of a bigger size, the barriers you face then to the barriers you face when you're a smaller size are very different, and there's different sort of frictions that obviously I now understand as a coach, which is brilliant because it allows us to kind of support women. But that area was a different type of hard compared to this. And, you know, I did that before. It was very challenging in different ways, and I've certainly learned from that. But these sorts of barriers are new sort of territory for me. And I think it definitely feels different this time. I do feel a lot more disciplined, a lot more ready. And I feel I've got a lot more figure to sort of reveal because of the time it has been between those two sort of cuts. I have also built a lot of muscle as well, which, you know, hopefully will look a lot better this sort of time when I go into that cut. So we are now 4 months in, or coming into that 4th month, which is when the photo shoot is. So it is this month. In that time, I've lost 6.1 kilograms, or I think that's just under a stone if for people that do pounds. And I'm really proud of that, actually. I'm really surprised that we kind of got to that. In my sort of postpartum journey, the lowest I got was sort of 83.1. And then I kind of just drifted off and ended up doing like a bulk anyway. But this time I surpassed that. And when I first did that, I was buzzing. Like, I've never been past that, obviously postpartum. So this is obviously a challenge in itself to kind of see where I can get to that new level after, you know, life after my son. So we're kind of sitting about 81.4 at the minute. It of course fluctuates, of course, but we are taking measurements and we are taking pictures as well. I think to date I've dropped 6 centimeters off my hips and waist, so 6 centimeters off both, and of course dropped 6.1 kilograms, which I am actually really proud of. I think the first couple were very easy to kind of drop because we're not, you know, in those bad habits anymore. But this final kind of area has been a lot slower, a lot more, you know, as it is, if you're on a weight loss journey, you just know what it's like when it fluctuates a lot. You're seeing very slow progress, or it feels like slow progress until you actually zoom out. But obviously with an end date, I'm a little bit more, you know, aware of the scales when it does fluctuate, and a bit more like panicky, of course. You know, I also know as a coach that this is very normal, but I'm feeling good. And I think that's the main thing. I'm seeing those changes in the mirror. I'm feeling it in myself, and I'm turning up. So obviously, scales aside, I think I'm going into this, you know, in a really good position. So I'm very excited. I just want to maximize it and basically stick to it now. So what's gone well is, I think certainly the swap in food. I've definitely tested food and types this time. I think before, when I was on my previous sort of fat loss, it was just trying to build a new diet and try new things. This time I definitely have got a lot of like staples already there, and it's just sort of adjusting portions, you know, tweaking some things and just testing new sort of combos, I guess, and just really opting for more volume. So lots more of veg, lots more fruit, and of course protein, which is a massive staple in my diet anyway. So that wasn't something I had to think about, but it was already there already, and we're just kind of building on that. I think struggles wise, initially was a strong point for me. So I started in January with a step goal, and I gave myself a non-negotiable target. So no matter what happened in the day, that target had to be hit. And I absolutely smashed it. And then in February, we upped it a little bit. So we started at 12,000. We upped it to sort of 15,000 in February. And I think we missed it once. And then in March, we kind of upped it again to 18, just to kind of progress it and see what happened, basically, just as a bit of a challenge. And I definitely did say in my last YouTube video that I am heavily relying on my walking pad. And a few weeks ago, it just packed up and the motor went and it broke. And I think it's because of all the heavy use that I've been using it for. Obviously, it's such a great tool if you work from home, and you also don't want to waste time just going out for a walk. So I have really heavily relied on it, and I didn't really want to buy another one. So I had to sort of adapt to trying to get 18,000 in a day outside on my own as a desk worker and a mum. Now, I'm going to be honest, it kind of just went downhill. I was really struggling. Like 18,000 was just quite a lot for someone that doesn't have a lot of time and obviously isn't on her feet as a job. So it was a real struggle. So I have adapted. So recently, a goal that I implemented was to get up at 6 o'clock every morning and go for an hour's walk, come back and then start the day, because I know it sounds silly, but if you run your own business, you understand. But I felt like that hour was like non-business hour. So I didn't feel guilty for getting up and getting out for that hour, because I would have been asleep anyway. So that's obviously helped me boost it. And then I'd have to go for another walk kind of in the afternoon or evening, which I'll be honest is quite a struggle when you're busy. So at times I have missed out or it has been cut short. So what I did do was bring the steps back down. So I brought it back down to 15, which seems a little bit more manageable. Obviously it's still a challenge, but I found that if I wasn't hitting 18, I wasn't bothering at all. And I know we're probably all sitting there thinking, I literally do the same with maybe food. If I don't hit my calorie target, I think, what is the point? I'm no different. Like, I definitely found that I was kind of doing that. So I brought it back down to 15. If I did more, great. If I didn't, then 15 was kind of that minimum target. And that's been really helping, to be honest. So we're now back down to that. April, I have started an amazing 30-day challenge, which I'm doing with lots of lovely ladies that have joined. So these are live classes, and I'm doing them 4 times a week, 20 minutes for these classes, thankfully, because it's not too long. And I'm going to be honest, I have really struggled to keep up with my own training. The first week was absolutely fine, but that second week, I just found like a lot of my energy was kind of done in that class. I'd then go to train myself and I was kind of really hungry, a little bit fatigued, in that kind of mentality of like, I really cannot be bothered. So that has taken a bit of a hit. Now, I'm not too bothered because in this last month, I was going to up the volume of training. I'm okay with it, but obviously my goal this year was the first pull up, and I don't know if anyone follows me, but I smashed it in March. I'm pretty sure it was a couple of weeks after my YouTube video where I said I'm very close. I did it. And since then, obviously, I have pulled back a little bit with that sort of training until the shoot finishes. So those have been my real struggles at the moment. Food has been better. I've made some tweaks, and I'm not going to lie, like, I just want to be honest here. Like, there have been times where I have been very empty. There have been times that hunger has spiked, or I've delayed food because I'm trying to hit a certain amount. Now, at the moment, we're aiming for 1,600 calories, which is lower than I've ever really gone before. Like, I am tall and I'm very active, so that's kind of, low for me. And I'll be honest, like, there have been times where, I eat at about 2 or 3 p.m. in the day, and then dinner isn't until 7 till 8. And I think in that kind of time, hunger can spike. And obviously I've got to be aware of my toddler going to bed at sort of 7. He doesn't really eat with us. My husband sometimes goes to the gym, so I've got to wait for him to come back. And I don't actually have any kind of calories left in between that stage for me to have. And of course, at times I have just smashed a bagel because I'm so hungry, but it has got better, I must admit. Like, I have found hunger hasn't been as strong. And I don't know if that's because I'm just avoiding it or just ignoring it and being like, it's okay, like, we're gonna have food soon, just get through the next hour. But it has quietened down quite a lot. Obviously depending on where I am on the cycle, but I found that getting over that little hump has got better. But it is just something I just really want to be honest with, because I think sometimes I watch videos and I watch people do kind of photo shoot preps, and it's just win after win after win. They're sharing their food and their portions, and I'm looking at it thinking, I would be starving if I was to eat that. Like, show me the times that you binge. Show me the times that you've gone over a little bit. Tell me how you felt when you went over. And I think I just want to bring that to this sort of video, this kind of series, this prep, and just say, do you know what? Hunger's normal. Hunger does pop up. People don't want to talk about it, especially coaches, because I think they want to sell the dream of you can be in an amazing shape and not starving. Yes, that is a reality for some, but restriction looks different for everyone. And I think, one person's restriction is one person's ease. Do you know what I mean? So I really wanted to show this in this prep and just be really honest with you and just say there have been times I've been really low on energy. There have been times that I have been hungry, and there have been times that I felt guilty for eating over those calories and, proud when I felt like I got over that hunger. So it's not necessarily healthy, but it is a challenge that I have overcome in this prep. So current strategy from now until the actual shoot is basically just don't fall off track. So that's all I've got for now. We have a couple of socials, which is going to hopefully be really manageable, but it is the month of April. There is Easter, which is going to be a massive barrier for me. Obviously, I don't really want, and I've not so far had chocolate in the house. I find that anyone that kind of keeps it in the house has huge struggles. And for me, if I know it's there, I will just have it, and it will be a massive battle that I really just don't want to add to the journey. I don't want to make it harder for myself. So that will be a bit of a struggle. But from now until then, it is simply just keeping the steps, which is 15,000 a day, doing my 4 class workouts with my challengers and keeping consistent, which I kind of have to be honest. Food-wise, we are just sticking to that 1,600 calories and just maintaining, sticking to that goal, making sure that obviously measurements are in place and we're not kind of, you know, veering off or having any extras like coffees or cakes or anything like that. We have still cut out alcohol, which I kind of dropped in January anyway. I'm not a huge drinker, and to be honest, it's such a thing that I'm like, it's not even been a thing that I've even missed, to be quite honest, but it is really helpful to just keep that kind of almost identity, like when I'm going to socials, and I've only gone to a couple where people are offering me alcohol and I'm like, oh no, I just don't drink. And it's just immediately shut down. Like, it's just that kind of identity. No one then offers again. And I can actually enjoy the social a lot more because I find that alcohol is just so tiring. And the following day, I'm hungrier. And of course, when you are drinking, it is quite a lot of calories. And in my case, wasted, to be honest, because I just really want to be nice and full, nice and energized, and not into that kind of that snappy period, which I definitely know that we can go through when we're hungry. And as a mum who is very busy, I really don't want to be low on energy, and I really don't want to find that I'm becoming a worse parent because of this. I really want this to be about stepping into confidence and feeling my best self as well. But I really just want to be honest, and I definitely want to bring that in this series. Obviously, some days I absolutely crush it. I find that my energy's fine, my hunger isn't too bad, and I get through the end of the day feeling really energized, smashing my calories, smashing those targets. And you know, some days it is just survival. Maybe my son's been up through the night, you know, my sleep has been affected. I'm hungrier than usual. The same sort of foods aren't quite hitting the same, which is very common. I don't think people talk about this enough. You know, each week does look very different. But I'm not aiming for perfect. I'm just aiming to keep moving, that imperfect action. Like, I really want to be able to just practice what I preach and show that no matter the lane that you choose, no matter the speed, that we are moving forward. Because sometimes I'm in that fast lane, and I'm sure I've said this analogy before, but you're in that fast lane, going towards that goal, that destination. And some days, instead of just pulling off and veering off, it's just dropping the gear a little bit and, you know, putting yourself in that middle lane where you can just hit sort of 60 to 80% effort. And then other days are going to be really, really tough. And it is just that slow lane, like that bare minimum. What can we do today that's going to help us, you know, continue on this destination? So that's very much what I'm using at the moment. I think for the last couple of weeks so far, I've definitely been in that fast lane and have just been very consistent. But these days are going to pop up, and that's okay. It's just reminding yourself that there are things going to be in your control. There are things that are going to be out of it. There's definitely things you can do pre-events happening, not knowing that it's going to happen, but you can definitely control the controllables ahead of time. And that's certainly what I've been doing so far. But it's okay that other days drop down, and we just adjust the speed. As long as we're going towards that destination, that is the main thing, and something that I preach so much to my clients. So we are officially 3 weeks out from that first photo shoot. The next episode, I want to show you what I kind of eat in a day as a busy mum with a toddler, showing you exactly what I kind of eat and the structure and timing to really just maximize this photo shoot sort of prep 3 weeks out. And of course, if you are a mum in a similar situation, or you are a female working towards maybe a photo shoot or maybe even a holiday, let me know in the comments your goal, what you're working towards, or maybe even your struggles at the moment. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to make sure that you catch the next episode on this mini series so that you can see a proper mum's coached to confidence, where I show you the real life kind of balance of a busy mum that is working towards her first fitness solo shoot.